like a hummingbird in springs in bloom, springs in bloom.
What's the temperature outside?
Right now, it's 37 degrees Fahrenheit. Today, expect a high of 49 degrees. Enjoy the sunshine.
So hey, it's actually kind of warm enough outside today to do some actual work out here, and the sun is out. It's pretty nice, I won't lie to you guys. So I've been waiting for this obviously for a while now, and unfortunately it's not going to last too long, but I'm going to spend at least as much time outside as I can here today working on some stuff. So I really didn't think this thing through too well when I started making this board, because it's already getting too full. And I have a lot of stickers here that I need to put on this thing, so I'm going to attempt to figure this out, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to get them all on here. I might have to come up with a different solution for this. We'll see. Playing 90s music.
90s pop rock essentials from Ryan's Spotify.
I've got more here that just, the way I started this board, it's not fitting quite right, so I think what I might do is get one more board, and then as I get more stickers that fit on here, I'll be putting them on here. Other ones that might go together better, like stuff like this, that's all circles, that stuff would go perfectly just kind of in a row on another board, so I think that's probably going to be my plan. So far, I'm extremely pleased with how the lawn looks coming out of sort of the coldest part of the winter. Usually January here, end of January, beginning of February is the coldest part. We only had really a few days below zero, couple wind chill days around -30, so definitely that's cold, but sometimes it lasts for a couple weeks, and this year it wasn't too bad. So I know some of you out in the east didn't really even have much snow at all this year. I don't think we had even close to our average, probably maybe 15 inches total, something like that. But so far I'm really happy with how everything looks coming out of winter. I'd say the backyard for sure looks pretty much the best that it's ever looked coming out of winter. There's a lot of color there yet, but I think keeping it shorter is looking much better, so that's my target for this year. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing with it as far as mowing. I do have quite a bit of travel I think that's going to happen again this year, so I definitely can't keep up with mowing it every other day like I do the front yard. I just have to figure that out, kind of what mower I want to use with it, but yeah, I'm really happy with it actually. Remember that this over here was the area that I dormant seeded, and of course it's not ready to grow yet, but I'll be interested to see how that kind of works out. I can still see some of the seed sitting there, and but it has good seed to soil contact, so we'll see how it works. Side yard is looking decent. There's some snow mold damage over there. I don't think it's quite as bad as it was last year, but there's some tissue damage at least for sure. You can see kind of the circles from the snow sitting on there, and also there's a few spots where you can kind of see that mold looking web on top of the grass as well. As soon as I can get some airflow to that, I'd like to maybe use my leaf blower. I don't want to do too much raking right now just because the ground is just sort of coming out of being frozen. It's in some areas it still is frozen. The other thing that probably all of us deal with here where we get snow are the areas next to the street. The streets get plowed, all that stuff gets put onto the lawn there. There's a lot of sand that gets put down in my town here, so it ends up being quite a big mess over on those spots, and it doesn't look like that's going to be any different this year. That looks pretty messy. On the new bluegrass that I seeded last fall, there's some spots over there, some mud and junk that got thrown up on there. I think it was probably when I was actually seeding and I had some of that leveling work come over the curb, and so that got plowed back up on top. There's some piles of rocks over there. Again, same thing, I'm going to use my leaf blower as soon as I can to kind of blow some of that debris off, and certainly before you do any mowing, if you're going to be using a reel mower, make sure those rocks are off there or your reel will not love you at all and you won't be too happy either. Front yard, aside from the loss of color just because it's completely dormant now, get some frost burn on the leaves, but no big deal really. Otherwise, you can see some green down in there already, and I think this is going to start growing as soon as we get some more sunlight, get some warmer days that are consistent. Front yard is slightly slower usually than the side yard because the side gets more sun. the front is kind of blocked by the house in the afternoon until the sun gets higher. Overall, I can't complain too much about the current state of things. I think it will be looking good in no time here in the spring. So one thing I'm not very good at is cleaning my mowers during the year. As much as I'd like to keep up with it, it just doesn't happen. So I think today might be a pretty good day to do that. I used to be pretty into car detailing, and I guess you would say I still am, but I just don't really have time for it anymore. So today we'll do some mower detailing. So this stuff right here is just, basically it's like a degreaser. I use this a lot on my tires on the Challenger, and it can be used diluted on interiors, and it's just a great general kind of degreaser that you can cut with water if you want to. So it doesn't have to be strong if you don't want it to be, but it can be very strong, which I have this on straight right now. So I want to try to clean off these wheels, see if I can get them looking better. And also in here, I just got a tire brush basically, and some car soap in there. So we'll fill this up. Rinse it and see what it looks like. Now there's some scratches on that wheel, so it's not going to look perfect. Those are just scratches into the plastic, but man, big difference. And that stuff seriously works awesome. Alright, let's spray it on the oil and stuff now. I cleaned all the bottom in here, cleaned the other wheel. Let's see how it does. Yes. Let's let it sit on there for a second. One more spray, let it sit again, and then I'll scrub on it a little bit too. It's good. I'm going to finish this off with this stuff I use in my car as well. It's called waterless wash. So essentially what it's designed to do is, if your car is not extremely dirty, this you can just spray right on there, and then you can use it to clean, and then you don't have to rinse it off or anything. Just basically like spray it on, wipe it, and then dry it off. So that's kind of how it works. So I already have it mixed up in here. You only need a half of a fluid ounce into 22 ounces of water, so not much at all. Now, if you want to put some wax on it, you could go an extra step. The waterless wash stuff that I'm using has kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a wax, but it's kind of a synthetic product there that will actually give it a coating. It doesn't last a long time, but if you're continually using it, if you spray it off when you're cleaning your mowers regularly, then usually put some sort of good coat of synthetic onto my Challenger. And then I use this as an in-between just because it never really gets that dirty. I don't drive it in rain or storms or anything really. So today, I have an idea for something that I want to try to work on soon here. few years ago I did some kind of custom work to my Timemaster, and I sprayed some plasti dip on the wheels to make them black, and it worked out pretty well, but over time it started to peel off slightly and I want to fix it today. So basically, last time that I did it, I left the wheels on there, but I thought this time maybe it would be easier to take them off and actually spray the whole wheel and do it better than it was before. That was probably part of the problem, but I'm gonna find out. So I have all these set up, ready to go. I also covered the middle part of the wheel just to make sure that I don't get any of this down in the bearing. You can see some of this is still left on there from last time. That was areas that just really didn't get a very good heavy coat on it, and that's okay because we're gonna cover it back up again with the same product. In my experience, it kind of just mixes back together pretty well again. All right, let's give it a try. For the first coat, I usually just go pretty light on there, and you just kind of want a tack coat on there. And as you go, you can start to get a more smoother coat. So day 2 today of my project that I have going on, and I'll show you kind of the progress that I have so far. It's turning out pretty cool. One thing that I forgot yesterday when I was spraying that first coat was that if you warm up the plasti dip, kind of just put it in the sink and warm it up and let it sit in there for a little while before, especially if you're in a colder environment like I'm at right now in the 50s, it will spray better and it'll also kind of settle and level itself better. So some of this that I did has a slight texture to it. Actually, the wheels look pretty good, which I'll show you in a second. I'm gonna do another hopefully pretty even coat with that warmed up today on the main machine here, and then that'll be 4 coats on there. You can go 4 to 5. The more that you put on, the better that it should peel off eventually whenever you want to peel it off. So it's kind of up to you, but even now it has a good coat on there. It's just kind of how easy you want it to come off later on. So what I also found today were a couple of robins, so that's a good sign that spring is coming. My neighbor used to always say that the robins have to get their feet in snow 3 times before it's actually spring. He was an old farmer that, you know, of course has all those old farmer stories. Okay, now I'm just doing some testing. Now remember, that was simply for testing purposes. It's not like I wanted to mow or anything like that. I needed to make sure that that mower still worked, simply for testing purposes.